Good morning and welcome to the Elevate Renatus team call. Today is Wealth Wednesday. It is April 28th, if I'm not mistaken. Welcome, welcome. My name is Keely. This is our Wealth Wednesday morning team call. Our quote of the day today is, if you want to be more productive, you need to become master of your minutes. We've got our dates for a leadership retreat. We're going to Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, August 20th through the 24th. Leadership Retreat is an absolute blast. I definitely recommend, if you are not 1-star yet, you work on getting 1-star so that we can see you in Mexico. The only requirements are that you are either 1-star, 3-star, or 5-star qualified, and you get to do as much as you want or as little as you want. You can go on all the excursions, or you can just lay on the beach all day. It's up to you. So it's a lot of fun. I absolutely love Leadership Retreat, and we will see you there. Our Renatus Founders Live is our weekly opportunity to not only connect with the entire nation, the Renatus Nation, but we also get to connect with our CEO, Bob Snyder, where Bob goes over any important announcements that the company may have. This past Monday, we talked about, or we got to learn from a new instructor. So that was a lot of fun. If you missed it, you can always catch the replay through the Facebook page, Renatus Founders Live. And that's every Monday at 4 p.m. Mountain Time. We've got our national study groups. Those happen every Monday night at 7 p.m. We are working our way through the essentials right now, and they will announce on the Founders Live what we have coming up next and kind of what's going on with those. So again, another reason to tune in to the Monday Founders Live so you can hear what's going on with the national study groups. And then we've got our Renatus Helios app. We just got a new update. So when you open the app, it should urge you to get that updated. For the past little while, the Money Mastery videos have not been working, and now they are. So we've got a brand new Money Mastery to go through today, and a lot of great features with the app. So make sure you get that downloaded, give it 5 stars. One of my favorite perks that the app offers is that we get to, or we are notified when a commission is paid. We're also notified whenever our guest is checked into an event. So a lot of really great features there. We've got so much weekly and daily support with Renatus Team Elevate. So very grateful for these additional events that the Elevate group is putting on for us. We've got our Private Capital Masterclass every Thursday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time with Daine Clark, where we talk all things private capital. We invite all AIT students who are on the optional event subscription to join us on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Once you join the optional event subscription, you will get a text every week as well as an email every month with the details on how to join this masterclass. We've got our dream call that is Monday through Friday. We start right after this call, so sometimes it's about 9:05, and then we go all the way until 10 o'clock most days, where we talk all things real estate investing. So this is a great opportunity to either bring your expertise, if you've got some experience with real estate, you've got some deals under your belt, or you're ready to take it to the next level. You can either share what you've learned so far and give some advice to other students, as well as help to grow your own business and take it to the next level. And of course, we always encourage new investors to come to this call because this is a great way to start taking action on how to get some of your first deals going. And then, as I mentioned, we've got our marketing call. It's every day, Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 Mountain Time. We talk about marketing, we talk about business, personal development, and mindset. These calls are such a fantastic way to start your day. So congrats to everyone who is here, who is so consistent. I see so many reoccurring names. So I love that you guys are just consistent, and that shows me that you take your business seriously. So pat yourself on the back. And then I love seeing new names on here as well. So welcome to anyone if this is your first call. I mentioned just a moment ago the optional event subscription. That is the OES. And again, once you're a part of the OES, we welcome you to join the Dream Call and the Private Capital Masterclass. Another great part of the optional event subscription is that you get your $50 waived every single month for the intensive. So some great features with being a part of the OES, and it really helps our leadership help keep these online events going. So you can join the OES by visiting oesoes.com. There's also a short video on the website that Michael Huggins put together. It's only about 6 minutes long, and it talks a little bit more in detail about the OES. Every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, Scott Rowe does a profits intro. So if you are looking to introduce any guests to the profits education, get them in front of Scott Rowe on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Please do make sure that you register in Helios, and you can easily pull up this event in Helios. Just go to the calendar, type in profits in the search bar, and you'll see this pop up on Tuesdays. Every Wednesday, so today we've got our virtual house tour. If you are in the Salt Lake area, you can attend this live and in person. And then we also provide it online through Zoom for everyone else across the nation. This is a great way to get your guests introduced to the Renatus education. They get to see what is currently being done in today's market. They get to see all different types of classes being put to use on a single deal. They get to learn all about the property. And anyway, very, very powerful exposure for your guests, to make sure that you're getting your guests to the house tour. Please register in Helios. Simply type in Laura in the search bar. Laura Black is the host of these events. So that's how you can easily find them in the calendar, get yourself registered with your guests. And then to access the event, you'll go to teamelevateusa.com. Every Thursday, we've got lots going on. We've got our corporate onboarding session. It's at 4 p.m. Mountain Time. We have another house tour on Thursdays. It's offered in Spanish. So Wednesdays, we have an English house tour. And on Thursdays, we have a Spanish house tour for all of your Spanish-speaking guests. That's at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Our Pillars of Wealth intro presentation happens every Thursday at 7 p.m. And then we've got a couple of study groups. We've got our family study group as well as a short-term rental study group. And then at 8 p.m., we have a velocity banking study group. Please do, again, make sure you register in Helios. And then you can access these events through the website here, teamelevateusa.com. We do record these morning calls. We add them to our Facebook page if we're not able to go live. And then we have our YouTube channel where you have not only these morning call trainings, years and years and years worth of these recordings, plus we've got our Zoom up calls. If you weren't a part of the Zoom up calls, we did those at the beginning of 2020 or sometime in 2020. We did over 100 interviews, and they're only about 15, 20 minutes long, where we get to learn all about someone's story, where they were before Renatus, why they got started, how they got started, and what they've been able to accomplish. And you are more than welcome to share those videos with your guests. It's a really great way to get them introduced to the Renatus education. So lots going on the YouTube channel as well as on our Facebook page. So make sure that you're a part of both of those. Today is Wealth Wednesday. We get to learn from Daine Clark, but before we introduce Daine, we are going to shift over to our money mastery exercise. We will watch a short video together, and then we would love it if you shared your thoughts in the chat when we get to the call to action part. So let's watch our money matrix exercise. Let's shift over to that.
A colorful life and cashed in big. This man lived a colorful life and cashed in big.
Well, let's be patient with it and hope that it works. Like I mentioned earlier, the money mastery exercises have not been working in the app, but I did update my app this morning and tested it, and it was working this morning. So if we don't get it to work, I was also having troubles with the website too. So if we need to, we can go ahead and skip over the money mastery. Let's give it another try here. And if we need to, we'll just introduce our trainer and get started with Daine.
This man lived a colorful life and cashed in big.
And thanks everyone always for being patient with some of the technical difficulties that we face every once in a while. Well, doesn't look like it wants to work. I'll make sure to contact corporate about that. And let's go ahead and shift over to our trainer of the day. Hope everyone's okay with that. Daine always has so much amazing information for us, and something I really love about Daine's morning calls is that he really makes this about us and wants to help us with what anything that we're struggling with and what's going on with our businesses to help us move us along, because he is just a giver. So I'm very grateful for Daine. And Daine has an incredible story. He was working 2 jobs before Renatus, and just barely making ends meet, making minimum wage. And he was working for both Apple and as a roofer. For Apple, he was actually pretty shy at the time. He was working in the back, counting cell phones, not talking to customers. And he actually had to have his wife ask him out because he was too shy to ask his wife out. Beautiful page that we see on the screen here. I love that story. And so Daine, he realized that he needed to make a change, and he had learned about real estate investing, and someone had brought up the opportunity with Renatus, and he was a little bit skeptical at first, but after some time and after coming to some events, he decided that this was the right thing to do, and he got started, and he went all in with the cash combo. Daine listened to his mentors, he watched his classes, he started to take action. One of his first deals was a duplex where he lived in one side and rented out the other, while also applying velocity banking to the deal. And if we fast forward to today, now Daine has raised over 23, correct me if I'm wrong, Daine, it's probably higher now, over $23 million from various investors. So he is definitely really, really putting the private capital classes to work, and has completed multiple deals. In 5 years, he has done over 100 or 200 deals. Daine, again, correct me if I'm wrong. All I know is that he is out there taking massive action and has a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience to share with us. So not only is Daine really, really killing it on the real estate side, he is also a marketing leader and is on the PIT team in training to be on the President's Advisory Council. And we have a lot to learn from Daine, so make sure to take notes today. I'm excited for what Daine has to share with us. Good morning, Daine. How are you today?
Good morning, everybody. Happy Wealth Wednesday. Thank you every Wednesday morning for that intro, Keely. So after today, actually, I'm actually breaking 2 records today, or I guess one yesterday, one today. So after today will be over $25 million of private money raised and put to work in actual real estate deals, because that's how I track it. I don't track it when somebody says, "Oh yeah, Dave, let me give you $250,000." I don't track that. I track when I say, "Hey, I have a deal. Let's put your money in a deal, and put to work." So after today will be over $25 million put to work. And today actually marks the biggest deal I've ever done. We are buying a 15. Well, actually, it's right now. It's technically a gym, and it's been vacant for 20 years. And so it's this old gym that's been vacant for 20 years, and we're going to turn it into a very, very high-end apartment complex, 15-unit apartment complex. It's going to take a lot of work, but it is like the perfect location. It's got a gorgeous view of Ogden City. You know, there's like the LDS Temple right there. All of the new development that's going on in Ogden. Just the perfect location. And so, biggest deal we've done yet. We're funding that today, and then the record would yesterday. This is the first time that I've ever been able to say that I had somebody call me and say, "Hey, I've got this really good deal. It's a duplex." That happens all the time. But here's the catch. Everything I was like, "Yeah, sounds like a good deal. Yeah, sounds like a good deal." And then he's like, "Here's the catch. We need to close today." I was like, "What?" "Well, send me the address. Let's take a look at this." And so we were able to. That's the fastest turnaround I've ever done. Where literally was like, we looked at it, we ran some analysis, we did all our due diligence. Luckily, they had already done some previous due diligence before they brought the deal to me that we were able to go off of. But I've never been able to say, but yeah, somebody came to me and said, "Hey, we need to fund today," and we did it. And so broke 2 records, I guess, yesterday and today, fastest and the biggest. And then today marks, I think, deal number 135. So crazy. And yeah, it's just nuts. Thank you so much, Renatus. Oh my gosh, changed my life. Absolutely changed my life. But without further ado, let's get going on this. So, sorry that we were not able to get into the money matrix. But oh well, I guess we'll go forward with this. We got plenty of good stuff to jump right into. And so go ahead and tell me, guys. I want to know how many conversations did you have in the last 7 days? How many people did you bring to an intro? How many people did you do a one-on-one with? How many people did you get to the Velocity Banking Mastermind? How many? Or is that a customer-facing one? I may be I may be off on that one. But how many? I want to know how many people are you communicating with in a given week? Excuse me. The number that I track is how many one-on-ones do I do. I used to do everything. How many conversations did I have? How many invites did I have? How many people showed up? How many people did I do a one-on-one with? All right, so I track all those different numbers. Now I just track how many one-on-ones did I do, because I know if I'm doing one-on-ones, then I'm doing everything else, and so it was easier for me to just say, just go back to one thing, and it's the one that I'm able to ask for the order, ask for the close, ask for somebody to say, do you want it, and here's my close, if I've ever given this before. But usually my close is like, hey, I got a dumb question for you. You ready? And I legitimately let them answer. And then I say, do you want to do this? And I nod my head just like that. Hey, I got a dumb question for you. Ready? Yeah, Daine, what is it? Do you want to do this? And of course I'm showing them, my iPad, and when we've drawn a whole bunch of stuff on it. And then when they say, yeah, actually, right? Of course, it's a dumb question. Do you want to do this? Of course you want to do this. So I track those meetings. How many meetings do I have where I was able to say that? Ask them the dumb question of do we want to do this or not? And so, but yeah, let's do this. We got 70 people on the line, so let's. I want to see 70 comments. I already see 35, so half. But the rest of you, I would love to see. And I don't do this because I want people to be embarrassed or even prideful. Right? I don't tell people to show me how many people for either one of those reasons. I ask people to show me that because you need to hear yourself say this week in and week out. You need to hear yourself come up with that number, whatever it is that you track. You need to hear yourself say that every single week. And so if you don't do it on my call, that's fine. Do it somewhere that you track and record it. Like I could go back and I could show you for every single week in the year of 2021, 2020, 2019, 2018. I think I started in 2017 maybe. I could show you every single week for the last 3 to 4 years how many one-on-ones that I've done versus how much money I've made. And I can see exactly. And so the reason I give you this opportunity is to say, here's how many, because you need to hear yourself. Do that on at least a weekly basis. Okay? So please do. Again, this is for you, not for me. Esther, 16, great job. Shayna has 3 yes with an exclamation mark. Love the energy. Exclamation mark. Yes, I had 3. Jared had 3. Good job, brother. Charles had a goose egg. No worries. Notice what happens when you give that information to yourself every single week. Robert Wahlberg, 400 texts. That's awesome. Busy. Maximiliano had 6. Flavia had 1. Gilda had 3. Bruce had 1. Keely had 14 conversations. Maurice had 1. Laura Brown had 7. Robert, 14 books to the house tour, and 3 showed up and then to the intro. Great job. Andy had 2. Autumn had 1. Jen had 1. Luis had 4. Brett, several conversations. Maria had 3 conversations. Seth had 1. 2 to the house tour for Andy. Drakar, Jakar's getting very detailed. Look at this. Talk to 10 people, 3 velocity banking, 3 funds, 5 property tour, 2 game nights. Love it. Olivia talked to 1. Olivia had 1. Drakar talked to 10 plus people. Diane, Huey had 1. Al had 4. Bobby 5. Karen talked to 5. 3 booked to intro and velocity banking tonight. Ruthie had a goose egg. Carla had 5 one-on-one conversations. Nice. And 5 guests. LaShawn talked to 3 people. 13 attended property tour out of 81. 4 attended velocity banking out of 32. That's awesome. Scarlett had a goose egg. Amy has 3. Bertha had a goose egg. Yeah, this is great. Keely says, nice job, everybody. Teresa talked to 1. Laura, 2 of my 7 are putting a for sale sign on a rental. Oh, and we sold on seller financing. Look at that. That's awesome. Mike White had 2 one-on-ones. That's awesome. Good job, guys. And Keely says, great job to all of you. That's awesome. Yes, our real estate leads to marketing. Our marketing leads to real estate that leads to marketing that leads to it's awesome. Bob Snyder's a genius. I say this every week. Bob Snyder is a freaking genius. Where he said, hey, learn how to go do real estate. Learn how to talk the talk of real estate. And while you're doing it, you're naturally, it's like organically, you're organically going to have people say like, hey, can I do that? Can I get involved in that? Whatever it is you're talking about. Sounds amazing. And then you're like, well, actually, yes. You know what? I have conversations with very, very seasoned real estate investors. Because again, I talk to everybody. And so I talk to very, very seasoned real estate investors that have done, that have hundreds of units even. And when I ask them that question, like, hey, do you ever get people that say, how did you learn this? Like, what did you do? Give me all the books. Can you teach me? Can I shadow you? I get very seasoned real estate investors say, oh yeah, that happens to me all the time. And I'm just like, you're leaving so much on the table. Oh my gosh. And like you could seriously do more deals and help more people. But you know what? Not as many people that got successful lone wolf want a lot of people that know how to invest in real estate. It's really interesting. But you see somebody that came through a Renatus, let's say a Renatus alumni. You see a Renatus alumni that is doing a lot of real estate, very successful investors, and they're just like, yeah, let me help everybody. There's so much money out there that I want to help every single person. And yeah, come on down and learn what I'm learning, do what I'm doing. It's crazy. It's crazy what a proper education will do to a human. Abundant versus scarcity. Yeah, sure, they got their success, but they just want to keep it to themselves, right? Oh, it's interesting. But anyway, off my high horse. Let's get going on this. So whoever, and you know who you are, whoever wants to come off of mute and have a conversation with myself, as well as the group, would love to have somebody just interrupt me, but come off of mute. Tell me about a moment that you had a deer in the headlights situation where you were talking to somebody and they said something and you're just like, what do I say to that, right? Just bring up something that we can help you with. And so I'm reading some of these comments. Found many deals, many deal opportunities looking for marketing leads. Oh yeah, correct. Most people are looking for mentors, and I return the conversation into yes, exactly. Exactly. So who is it going to be today? Who wants to come off of mute, have a conversation with myself, get some live in person, let's call it mentoring, if you will. And if not, then I'll just tell stories and teach. And so who do I have?
I'll go. You hear me?
Jakar, what's up, brother?
What's up, man?
All
How
right,
you
brother,
doing?
go ahead. What you got for me?
All right,
Sorry, I'm gonna turn this up.
so I guess my issue, or not even really an issue, I feel like it's more of me having patience, but I do generate a lot of leads, like warm or hot leads, based on going out every day and having conversations, like face to face. I do Lyft and things like that. So I always talk to people. I have like little marketing pieces in my car, saying if you're interested in real estate, talk to me, and they always do, and they're always interested. Probably about 99% of the people that I talk to bring up this situation with, or have a conversation and it comes up, they're all interested. Once I do it, I contact them, get them to a lot of the information. They get to the information. Most of them, still probably more than half of them, are interested. I'm in learning more, but they take their time. And I can't be mad at that, because it took me about 6-7 months to actually think that it was official, and then sign up probably like 3 months after. But I guess that's my issue. I'm kind of stuck there. Is that I get all of them to come. I have all their contact information. I lead them to the information. They want to keep going. They want more. But it's not. I'm not getting any closes. And I mean, it might be the issue. I mean, I feel like I'm a decent closer. I'm in sales or whatnot. But in terms of this is new. So I guess that's kind of my deer in the headlights or stuck situation.
Yeah. All right, let me grab my iPad here. Let's use this for share screen. Oops. Oh, Keely, can you let me share my screen? Share screen. There we go. Share. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Share iPad. Okay, Jakar, let me repeat back to you what I think I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is not finding people to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
You're able to find a lot of people to talk to. But the issue is, and people are interested, but they're getting all the way to the point where they're not closing. And so let me, because we're talking in very general terms at this point, because we're labeling people, the masses, if you will, we're talking everybody that I'm talking to. I can try and talk about this generally, or if you do have somebody that pops into your mind right now as I'm saying this, that you're like, you know what, let's use the dialogue of this person, of this experience. Which way would you rather go? You want to grab somebody?
I don't mind.
Like that?
I mean, I don't mind going specific.
Okay.
It might be
cool. So yeah, let's grab somebody specific and give me some dialogue of when ultimately when they're bowing out.
Okay. So I would say I have so let's say I have somebody that I met, and I spoke to them in the car where I met on Lyft, and they asked me, based on the information, if I was in real estate. They said they've always been interested in real estate. So I'm like, okay, I have information for you. If you would like to attend, or if you would like to attend, I have information, Zoom call or whatnot. Kind of give you a little bit more information. Okay, specific name. One is Tony. Let's do Tony. Tony.
Yeah.
So yeah,
okay,
so Tony said he's interested. So he gives me his contact information. I contact him, say, I just wanted to, kind of reassure that you were serious about the situation, or just joking about the real estate. They're like, yeah, I'm serious. So I say, okay, I'm gonna send you this information, send it to them in advance, then remind them. They get on the call. I asked them after, follow up with them, ask them what they learned. They tell me it was wonderful. They learned a lot. Then they're like, well, then I tell them, okay, I get them to the next one. From there, let's say they go to another one, ask them kind of the same thing, go to the repeated phase. ask them what they think about it, if it's something that they're interested in. And they're like, yeah, and then kind of, oh, well, you can get started such and such. They're like, okay, sometimes it's money. This situation, it would be more about money and time. I would say the time of, oh yeah, I have to make sure I do this. I still got a job. I don't know, if I can do this. And then, I might send them to recently I gave them a link to the funds webinar, and then time kind of comes in. It kind of seems like he goes off and like, well, I can't do this at this time. I don't have the time to go to this one. Let me go to the next one. And then it kind of just jumps from there. They might attend, but they might go off and they have stuff to do. So that's kind of, in that particular situation, that's kind of how that happened. So it kind of like they're interested and I'm trying to keep them on, but then it's like they slowly get off because I guess they maybe feel like they can't, they're missing something, that they can't do it.
Cool. So I think I heard it, but and so I'm gonna roll with this, and then if I have an impression to ask you some more questions, I will. But if I lay out my process, right, which sounds like yours is very similar. You find a lead, they're interested, you get them to an intro, you have a second exposure, and we get to the point of putting in an order, and then funding that order. And then from funding that order, we go into a goal setting session that really, I just sit down with them and use that little tool that you guys all have access to. If you go to DaineClark.com/tracker, we sit down in this goal setting session and we say, all right, we're going to watch this, right? And so I build to this. I built, as from here, it's like, all right, the most important thing is, I want you to come see this. From there, the most important thing is like, oh yeah, I want you to come, what's the biggest thing that stuck out to you? Cool, let's get you more information on that. And then from there, it's like, all right, I got a dumb question for you. Often, and of course, oftentimes I do this in a one-on-one. You don't have to do this in a one-on-one. Scott Rowe has proved that you don't have to put orders in a one-on-one situation. Of course, it's probably one of the most effective, but which is again what I'm going to get to in just a moment. But you asked me that question. Oh, I got a dumb question for you. You ready? Yeah. So, do you want to do this? Yeah, I want to do this. Cool. So, next steps. And so I lead to like, cool. The next steps is let's get you an account, and then we need to figure out how to pay for it. And then as soon as we pay for it, or I say unlock is how I call it. Funding, or I call it a very fancy word to say let's pay for it. Let's unlock education. And so that's the term that I use, or the buzz phrase that I use. And so as soon as we unlock education, aka put their credit cards in, then we're going to sit down in a goal setting session. And this is probably going to be one of the most important meetings that you and I have. Right? This will be the game changer when you and I sit down for a goal setting session. And we're going to sit down and literally give you exactly what to do every single day for the next however long it takes you. And so that's when I sit down and for those of you who have seen that, if I go to this template master sheet, this is what I'm talking about, right? And yeah, I've got this template that's here filled in here of a bunch of things that they could watch. But oftentimes I'll sit down and I'll erase stuff and be like, oh yeah, no, you based on everything you told me, I don't think we want to go here, and we'll go down through. and notice, this is just for extra bonus, but notice that even if they buy only essentials, which is over here on the left, if they buy only essentials, I still actually go through this, and we set goals on education to watch inside of their EIT. Even if they only buy essentials, because then I'm building in the next conversation. Okay. Anyway, but Drakar, I don't think this is where we need to go. Although I do think this would be a valuable add to start building to the next thing, where instead of just being like, so do we want to do this? Use the same excitement as you did to get them to these first two meetings, these first three steps, creating intrigue with the lead, getting them to an intro, getting to the second exposure, it's just like, oh yeah, I've got the next thing for you. Oh, got the next thing for you. And then when they're done with that, you say, cool, I got the next thing for you. So, and then you go into order unlocking and that goal setting session, okay? And so make sure that you're building that. Make sure that you're building, this is supposed to be number one. Make sure that you're building that next thing, that next step, right? That goal setting session is the most important thing that we're going to do because that's going to set the stage for your future. And I've even said things like, as when we sit down in that meeting, and you and I sit, pick which route you want to go, I'll actually be able to somewhat tell your future. I legitimately say that. Yeah, the future I'm not going to promise is like, oh, you're going to do a deal this fast. No. The future is, if you watch these classes, you are going to know how to have conversations about these types of things. And I can tell that future because if somebody watches a class, now they have the information and they can have a more valuable conversation about their real estate investing, whatever it is that they're after, whatever we set goals to watch, okay? So that's one thing that came to my mind that I was like, ooh, I wonder if Jakar is doing this, with the same excitement, talking about the next steps, okay? Also, I would dare guess that when people bow out, because you mentioned that you chat after they see that exposure, and so I'm gonna ask for more information. After this second exposure, when is it that you talk to them? Is it directly after? Is there like a scheduled meeting after?
So usually, now after I think I've read Form Pro. So I usually schedule when I schedule them for the exposure or intro or whatnot. I usually set up and say, okay, I'm gonna send you this link. This the link to this. Is it okay if make sure that they're gonna watch it and say, when you watch it after, is it okay for me to either call you the next day or within that day if it's early? So I do that. They say, okay, yeah, that's fine. So I speak to them after. I usually ask them basic how they felt about it, or if they learned anything and what did they learn. And then from there, kind of just set up the next exposure. I would say that I haven't done anything like a one-on-one meeting or anything like that. So that might be something that may help. And the goal setting thing might be good because I do have a lot of information with them. I just try not to right now, get too much into a conversation with them, because in the past I realized that maybe I exposed too much information without them knowing so much, and it kind of either give them too much information where they think, okay, well, I can go on my own and just do it when I want to. I don't need any more information right now. Or maybe there's too much information for them and overwhelms them. So I try not to do too much, and I try to kind of just get them to the exposures, give them the information, and kind of see where they go from there. So that may be the in-between of something where I need to transition, find a better transition and doing that.
How long would you say those calls last? I wrote 15 minutes here because that's what I'm guessing, but how long would you say those calls last in between exposures?
Well, I guess it depends on how well I know the person. They'll keep talking. They have a lot of questions, and they may just go into a conversation. Maybe we'll talk about something else. Because a lot of these people I've built relationships with or building with, but for the most part, I try to keep it in between that time range, less than 15 minutes.
Okay.
I have had conversations with some people like for a long time as well. So, but most of them I try to not to say too much now because I know saying too much might lead into the wrong direction.
Cool. So would I be pretty accurate if we're like talking like most of them last maybe 15 minutes?
Yes.
Cool. Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm going to say, if you know yourself, because one of the best things you can do is to know yourself, right? If you tell yourself like, hey, if I get in front of them, then, you know, in a one-on-one situation, oftentimes I just start, I start giving it too much, and I start, you know, throwing up on them. If you know that you do that, we could go into this a whole other topic of stop telling yourself that, but we're not going there today. But stop telling yourself that. When you really start believing in yourself that, hey, I know what to say. I am a professional. I am empowered, right? This is why we bought Renatus, to empower ourselves to close deals, to close combos, to become independent, right? To become a producer, basically, right? That's what we are all trying to become. It's going to take some time. All right, I've been at Renatus 5 years now, and I feel like I'm just learning this stuff. But yeah, because I've had that mindset, made a bunch of money, sure, but and I think you're picking up what I put down here. Okay, stop telling yourself that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need to be believing in your own progression of becoming the expert. Is it going to take time? Absolutely, it is. So yeah, don't get to the point where you're like, all right, I'm becoming the expert. I'm becoming the expert, and you don't feel like it's happening fast enough. Right? Don't go there. But always be telling yourself that you are becoming the expert. Where literally, I tell myself this so much that there have actually been some times that people never stepped foot into a meeting and bought their Extreme Plus combo. Literally gave me their credit card before they ever came to a meeting, because I believe that I'm enough of an expert that I can have that sophisticated of a conversation. Right now, I'm not saying that happens every day. That's maybe happened a few times, but I could have that conversation. Do I still use all these intros and the exposures that you're using? Absolutely, I do, because it's a huge time saver so I don't have to do a lot of personal exposures like that, right? So I would say keep that. But here's what I would do though, is this meeting, make this an hour, right? So the only time that somebody gets on your schedule where you will meet with them for an entire hour, oops, let me put this on, don't turn sideways mode. So if you get somebody that puts their cards in, unlocks their education, they deserve an hour from you. And so you're going to sit down, right? So be building toward that meeting, which means they put their cards in, right? They unlocked their education. Then you are going to sit down and share with them all the education and what they're going to watch and set their goals and how much time and what days, all that stuff. Yeah. So one thing that I saw is I feel like you might be struggling with that next step, right? What do I do if they say, yes, I like this? Okay. One aspect. The other one is I'm guessing, well, I guess this is kind of related, right? I'm guessing that because they're saying this, time, job, money, you know, whatever it is, and they're bowing out before that is probably because they're not understanding what's next. They are thinking, I'm guessing that there's something that you're saying, you know, and I think I heard it where you're on that 15-minute call, you know, so what do we think? You know, are we doing this? You know, where they're just like, crap, you know, I just have to pay my money now that I saw all those things, but the future is fuzzy. You know, I don't know where I'm going from here, right? Other than I just, you know, that Jakar says I should put my money in now, right? That I need to buy this now, essentially, right? And so tell me if I'm striking a chord or not, but this is just what's coming to me, and so I'm saying this. So I'm hoping that this is what you need to hear as well as some other people on the line. What was the other thing I wanted to say? Building, yeah, get that excitement, right? Build this. Tell yourself that you are worth it. That The only way to get an hour on your schedule, right? You are the professional here. The only way to get an hour on your schedule is if somebody unlocks their education. And whether they buy an Essentials or an Extreme Plus combo, they're still going to get an hour. And you're still going to build the same plan of education to watch that actually is included in the Extreme Plus combo or the Epics combo. Because upgrades. Awesome. Right? I have a lot of people that if they join at Essentials level only, they reach that point because I set the stage correctly that eventually they're going to be like, all right, what's next? Like, oh, remember all this other stuff? It's time to go there in your progression. Okay, cool. What's that take? $18,000. Let's get this going. And again, talking forward, like, yeah, as soon as we unlock that 18,000, you and I are going to sit down for a goal setting session. And we're going to do it again. Right? As soon as people unlock education, they get an hour with me. Most important meeting that somebody can have with me is right after that unlock, right after they unlock that education. Okay. So, Jakar, tell me if this is helping. Tell me if you
Yeah, I would say, yeah, definitely
got
it
some
helps.
aha.
It helps. I just want to kind of reiterate just to make sure I understand correctly. So do what I was doing in the beginning, get them to the exposures. But after that, the hour is after after they unlock the education, or should I have a conversation with them leading to them doing that? Leading to the exposure.
You can, yes. And sometimes I will do a little one-on-one. So right here, for example, I'll do another little one-on-one to basically become their funding expert. To say like, all right, do we already know how we would fund this? If they say yes, yeah, they don't need a meeting. Cool, here's an order link. All right, oh, what's your email? What's your address? Okay, cool, you just got an email. Go in there, create the account. Put the card in. All right, if we know. If they don't know, then we say, okay, cool, let me become your funding expert. And I don't actually say that, but yeah, let's actually sit down and let me share with you some stories of what other people have done. Gives me an opportunity to do two things. One, tell some amazing stories of people that got started in their education and did something cool. But I focus on, this person, this is how they funded their $20,000 education, or $2,000 education, or $23,000 education. Okay, and so let me do this. And so I get to tell them all those stories, but also I should say testimonials. But also I get to tell stories of like, oh yeah, so this person they just leveraged the velocity banking and they got a bunch of lines of credit using the funding or funds website, and bam, they had a bunch of 0% lines of credit to fund their full education. This person borrowed money from their 401k, and so I tell these stories. This person got a HELOC. This person, I don't have any stories of life insurance, but this person had cash, credit cards, HELOC, 401k. This person used the billing, and then I tell one fun story of like, oh yeah, this person used some of that, and got it all by doing all these different things. And now look at them. Again, it gives me an opportunity or gives me a reason to talk about a testimonial. And so if, add that to your arsenal, basically, of ways that people have funded it. And then you ask them, so, of these people, which one do you feel like you are most alike? And I like to say that, align themselves. Steve says, I used 5 credit cards. Yeah. I got 5 credit cards and you ended up using 4 and kept 1 in the safe, right? So that use Steve's story, use 5 credit cards. Okay, and look at him now. Look at Steve now. Okay, tell those stories. Okay, so add that one to your arsenal. But remember, only do this one if they answer that question of like, hey, I got a dumb question for you. You ready? Do you want to do this? And of course, make sure that it's right after like a big high. Ask them questions like, can you see yourself buying a property and making money every month, or buying a property and cashing in a big check after you sell it? Or starting basically a hotel, a short-term rental company and making a bunch of money doing stuff like that, right? So you ask them all those questions and you say, cool, so I got a dumb question for you. Do you want to do that? And cool. So yeah, add that one to your arsenal. That, basically becoming that funding expert. And really, the funding expert, in fact, here, let me show you how to find this. Let's see how long it's going to take me to log in. Let's see if, let's see, Helios. And this is the only thing that you need to become a funding expert. You log into Helios. We go to, let's see. Corporate documents. And I feel like they keep changing the name of this. And so, response to the guide. Income, is it this one? No, I don't think. It might be this one. Nope, not that one. Back up. ICM. Where's the disclaimers? There, let's see if it's this one. The thing that we have to give them.
Daine is the combination package. Combination, not disclaimer, combination.
I'm not seeing it right here.
Package. It's
Am I in the
under
wrong spot?
under marketing, presentations, combination.
Oh, presentations. Okay. I just have a saved PDF of this. And oh, that's right. Combination. COMB. There it is. Disclosures. All right. Here's what it takes to become a funding expert. See, number 2, funding options. Scroll down, right there. Cash. And I actually go in this order when I sit down with somebody and say, and I tell stories, right? I have stories of cash and credit. In fact, Steve just shared his story. He used credit, right? 5 credit cards. Funding assessment. Get funded online. Retirement funds. 401k. Tell a story, right? HELOC. Tell a story. Private funding. Tell a story. I got a funny one about this one. Private funding. Tell a story. Life insurance. I don't have any stories with that one, other than Michael Huggins' grandmother has a life insurance story. And in-house billing, which I've got a bunch of stories on that, and I have a story for all of them, other than life insurance. This one used in-house billing, a little bit of private funding, little bit of cash and credit from mom and himself and his sister, and they all got together and got a combo. And so use that, right? So let's see. Let's remember how to get there. Marketing, presentations, start typing either combination or disclosure, and you get that document right there. And it's section 2. All the different funding ideas. Tell the story as you go. Okay, let's see. We're almost top of the hour, so we got to wrap this up.
That was great. I mean, that's kind of what I needed. Like, basically, I see where I need to continue going. So thank you, Dan. Appreciate it.
Cool. Always a pleasure, brother. And hopefully that was helpful for several people. Let me look at comments. How can I get stories of how people funded? Ask them. So Sindra, your homework is to ask I'm going to say 10, right? Reach out to 10 people and find out how they purchased their education. And I'm going to say this as well. Try to find people that have their full combo. Actually, yeah, don't stop until you do. Find people that have their full combo, whether it's a Extreme Plus combo or Epics combo. And did I say 5, 10? 10 people. And ask them, how did you do it? Right? You're actually going to notice a pattern. I know what the pattern is, but I want you to learn this. You're going to notice a pattern of how most people are getting involved in Renatus. And that's actually why I tell the stories that I tell in the order that I tell them, and work backwards from there. Okay, and so do that. Go get 10 stories. Pick your favorite one, or grab the ones that are like, oh, this person here, this person there, right? And you go down through and tell those stories. But notice the pattern that you're going to see, and you'll see it. You'll see it. I guarantee it. In those, I mean, it'll just take 10 people. Okay. So let's see, Robert says 401k for me. There you go. Look at this. People are giving out their information to tell their story so that you can tell their story. So yeah, Robert Walburn right there. Steve, I actually used the previous billing for my essentials, then fixed my credit and upgraded with 5 credit cards. There you go. I use essentials mainly for the credit class, and then tax and legal and helped me tremendously. Guys, look at this. People are on this call and giving these stories. This is perfect. Let's see who else. Oh, Seth says, why do you keep? Oh, go ahead. Who do I have?
Thank you. This is Wanda. Hi. Thank you
Wanda.
so much for that little nuggets, because I normally go through that list, but then at the end I ask, out of these ways, which one are you capable of? But now that you added this component, and I always tell my stories, I have my set of stories, but when now you're saying which one of these people you relate to, I think that's more emotional and that's more compelled for the closing. So thank you for that nugget.
Absolutely. The reason people love stories, the reason people love the hero story, Iron Man and Superman, is because they see themselves in the character's position. I mean, I don't know about you, but that's why I love watching, Avengers and Superman and Spider-Man and all these, because I can relate to the hero in the story, and it's awesome. It's like, oh yeah, I remember, I've felt that before, and then they triumph, and it's like, yeah, and so you tell these stories, and you ask them, just like Wanda said, which one of these people do you feel like you most are you most alike? Maximiliano has his hand up. I know we're over the hour, so we got to wrap it up. But Maximiliano, do you have like a 15-second question and answer? Or is it on accident that your hand is up? If not, then we will go ahead and go to the dream call. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Might be an accident. Cool. All right, guys. Happy Wealth Wednesday. Go have conversations. Go get the stories that you arm yourself in your arsenal. And I'll see you in a week.
Daine Boogie, thank you.
Thank you.